Don't get on the internet talking about how you ain't got no kids and you don't have nothing else. Thank God, praise God, I made it to 30 without no kids. You also made it to 30 without no car. You also made it to 30 without no money. You also made it to 30 without no goals or ambitions or a place to lay your head. Your life is in shambles. If you want my advice, have some kids. They might be what you missing. Because not having kids ain't working for you.
Or the very real possibility, if I had kids, things would be worse. I don't know how that's not understood. Listen, before we do a deeper dive into this one, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. We're still doing strong, still doing 2 a day, still trying to pay their rent. Listen, this is one of those things where, and like, we like to be equal opportunists on this channel. Like, if men saying something wild, I'm trying to incorporate more and more of that content. Men talking about that if you don't have stuff in your life together, then what's the point? What's the excuse? You don't have kids, you don't have anything. Is the reverse also true, that if I have kids, that's an excuse why I don't have everything else? Why I haven't really accomplished my goals? Is that the next sort of step in this logic? Realistically, we understand that kids cost in time, in terms of money, in terms of sleep, in terms of quality of life. I'm not saying that kids aren't worth it. I understand, right? Especially I've got probably the cutest niece in the world. But I understand that if you don't lay things out properly, methodically, stuff gets very difficult. When you can barely feed yourself, and then you have someone else is looking at you and does not understand the economics of the world, does not understand that you lack ambition, does not care about any of that. And if you somehow don't understand that, open up your phone. Open up your phone and see the constant barrage of messages or videos about deadbeats and how they don't take care of what's of their own and how difficult that life is. Even if you have a car, when you have a child very early, that starts to form the ceiling of your world. This is not to say that people don't rise above that and do better and do incredible things. I would posit they were probably going to do those things anyway. They probably they already had that drive in them to do better. That was never going to stop them. Kids, no kids, they were always going to be on that path. But thinking we're telling people just have kids, that would solve your ambition problem. No, it won't. No one. This is not a movie. It's not a Hallmark movie. It's not a Lifetime movie. It's not a feel good. It's not if you only had this, you would do better. The truth is, stuff gets difficult in life as you are a single adult. If you haven't planned properly, and a lot of us didn't know enough to plan, what to do. Well, sometimes when I'm mentoring students now, my alma mater, I'm saying you need to look at, right, especially if you catch them freshman year, catch them early. What do you want to do? Right? That's the leading question. What do you want to do? Or what are you studying? What's the major? How much does that career field pay? Will it be around by the time it's time for you to graduate? Not just graduate, in 10, 15 years. That field that you're studying in, will this be a viable thing? These are questions, these are deep questions, important questions that I don't expect the answers to immediately, but to set you on the right track to think about these. How do you fully think about, dive into those questions? You have a baby on your lap that requires you to do what you have to do. Doing what you have to do caps you, it limits you. You have to do that right now. This baby needs food, diapers, baby needs healthcare. You need to do all these things. So sometimes that's just accepting what's around you immediately. You don't have the luxury of choice. You don't have the luxury of rejecting what comes next. You don't get to say, that's not really the great fit. That's not really the salary I want. That's not the location. That's not the right state. You don't have that time. You have to make decisions. And when you have to do things, when you have to make decisions, you don't really have much of a choice. What's always available? Gig work, labor work, laborious work. That's always available. You want to be a server. right? Retail, that's always available. Doesn't pay enough. It doesn't pay enough for you to take care of yourself, a kid, and possibly, the mother. So when men say ridiculous takes like this, when they have ridiculous takes like this, we got to call it out just like we call out everything else. Thinking that this will be the solution because more than likely, this is your life. This is how you exist right now. You have kids and you're not where you think you should be. We all have that vision, right? Depending on the age, right? Because if you catch us early enough as men, you want to be an astronaut, you want to be a pilot, you want to be president, you want to be a policeman. You want to do all these things. Also, might want to be a Power Ranger, karate master. But when you get older, yeah, a lot of us dream of being millionaires, about being rich, about retiring our family. And what happens? Our lust gets in the way. We make bad decisions, we make poor decisions, or we just make decisions. Now you have children in the mix. Now the idea of you going out there and hitting the mattresses, going and grinding, yeah, that's not so easy. It's not to say you can't do it. It's not to say that in a weird, twisted way, he might be right. If you have that feeling of your back being against the wall, you have to do what you have to do. Maybe that will spur you on to have this ambition. But again, that's a movie. That's not real life. Trying to shame other men who haven't made the decisions you've made, it's not. It's technically, for those that understand, it's technically not dirty macking, but it feels very close to it. It feels very sketchy. It feels very disgusting. Not a fan. Not a fan. You can't shame other men to make the decisions you've made in your life. That's what you decided to do. Congratulations. Deal with your consequences. Deal with your life that you have to live, the life that you have to rear. But putting it on men, right? Especially this is in line with the other content we had recently, where people saying, if you're over 30 and you don't have kids, something's wrong with you. No, no. Something real might be wrong with the Black community when we have this idea. When we have this idea that you're supposed to, by this age, have children. That's a notion that because the norm, the majority are making these decisions, doesn't mean that that's a good decision. It's that age old thing your mom used to tell you: if all your friends are jumping off the bridge, you jump off the bridge. Well, no, that seems silly. But if all your friends were having kids, you having kids. Better yet, all your friends are getting married, or you getting married. Now it seems more, yeah, it seems a little different when you spin it like that. Because we all understand the societal pressures to do the thing that everyone around us is doing, even when we know obviously that becomes difficult. Having kids early becomes difficult. It makes your life harder. And I think when you don't plan for it, when you don't have the resources already available, you don't have the community around to support you, it makes things difficult. And we got to understand that it's not wrong to say that. It's not shaming to say that. You want to take your time. You want to make sure it makes sense. One of the biggest things, I don't want to be a baby daddy. I don't want someone, baby mama on TikTok saying he's a deadbeat, and I don't want to be correct. Well, you guys got to hear, you guys got to understand. I don't want to be that. You got to be judicious. You got to be careful. You got to make your own decisions. You got to pick and move. You got to understand where you were making your decisions. You try to shame other men that have that same mentality, that have been careful, have been planning, have been strategic, make it feel like they're wrong because they went and done the way. I think, again, dirty macking. Listen, if you got another term for it, if you disagree, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen right now, take a look at those. Let me know what you think about those in those videos. And of course, if you listen to sound of my voice now, if you haven't subscribed, you are killing me. Just join the train, join the train, join the train. Trying to pay that rent. I'll see you in the next one.